I took down some notes just so I can get organized. So you can see me looking here. Please excuse the messy hair. I just came out of the pool of swimming. So yeah, let's get started. So this is the story of my failed love in my 20s, my first experience, and this is somebody from college and that I fell in love with, and it was kind of on and off for 3 years, and we started out as friends and we just turned into more, and yeah, it was kind of a complicated situation because it was on and off. It just didn't turn out like a good situation. Yeah. So one thing that I learned from that experience is I learned that although it didn't work out, I feel like I learned a lot from that experience, and I feel grateful that I had it. And it took some time to process it afterwards. And some of these kind of lessons came at different times, like waves. So yeah, I learned that some new things about myself, some things about the other person. I learned that I was kind of desperate in how I acted, and I didn't like my own action. And later I realized I don't like my own, I don't even like my own belief systems or beliefs that I had that drove those actions, which was kind of in the vein of chasing. So although at that time I wasn't aware, and I realized over time that came from the belief that I'm not good enough, or that I have to work really hard for love. So that took a while for me to have those insights. Number two is I learned to not be afraid to have difficult conversations, and the sooner the better, because they can reveal very important truths that are significant in the decision-making process for my future. So that's an important lesson to kind of have, and I took that not just with my significant others, but also in friendships. And now I value my friends that are direct, and sometimes they can be edgy, but I value their insight and their straightforwardness because of that. Let's see what else. Number three, I learned that not everyone is truthful with me or even themselves, and it's not necessarily personal. Like, if a lot of times people might not even be truthful with themselves, they might lie even to themselves. So, and I know I'm guilty of that as well. Number four, I learned the importance of staying true to myself, and I discovered that I actually lie to myself sometimes to keep going in that relationship that was literally failing, and for the sake of a false hope, basically. And it took a long time to get to the point where I could really be honest, like after everything kind of broke up into a million pieces. So that was a lesson to not let it get that far or take that much. Yeah. Number five, I learned that my worth, this is an important one, I learned that my worth is not dependent on someone else's opinion of me or their approval, or the acceptance of me. I learned those things are things that belong within my dominion to choose how to handle and offer them to myself. Although I understand that sometimes that's a learning process to even know how to do that, or how to engage in other relationships where those things can be learned in the process. And the last one, number six, is I learned that in life I might be put in a position where I will have to choose between the love for another and the love for my own core self. And that's a very dire position to be put in, honestly. I felt like a lot of pressure to make the right choice. And at that time, it was very difficult to discern in such moments where I really wanted that false hope. I wanted to hold on to it. I wanted to not let go. So it was very painful to come to the realization that eventually I chose my own core self. But it was like, whichever way you're gonna choose, like, it can hurt. It will hurt a lot. And it almost feels like no real win until much later on, when everything gets more processed and put into place and things fall into place, and there's more insight and layer of understandings that gets built on. So yeah, those are some of the 6 lessons that I learned from that failed relationship that broke into a million pieces. And yeah, it did break my heart, and it broke who I was at that time. But do I regret that, as hurtful as that was? No, because by breaking who I was at that time, it helped me to really dig deep and ask myself questions that led me to truth, to a more truthful me, even if it was painful in the process. Yeah. So I do realize that experiences can take so many different directions for each of us, and I hope you find something new and useful that you can take with you from my experience. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them below. And please subscribe for more real life and wellness experiences, and I hope to see you soon in my next video. Bye.